I visited the woodlands of Gorski Kotar for a few days with one mission in mind. See what edibles I can collect around the cottage where I'm staying and what I can cook from it. I have chosen a kind of soup, or a stew if you wish, as the easiest meal to make, with few ingredients that I brought from home: oil, salt and one potato. It turns out though I will also have some side quests and meet some interesting creatures. Gorski Kotar is a region in Croatia that has over 80% of its surface covered with woodland. Depending on altitude and other factors, some trees are more common than others, but it's usually a mix of birch, beech, oaks and conifers. Woodland stands on karst terrain typical for this part of the world, with many beautiful freshwater springs and streams. I chose a strategic spot close to the forest edge, with some grassland around. On the very first day, I was greeted by this caterpillar that decided to use my hand as a means of transport. I've named it Jessica for no reason. I was also curious about what kind of animals and insects I'm going to meet. So I've set up the trail camera on nearby trees, hoping to catch something. You could see that deer pass through here by the presence of their droppings. Footprints were sometimes also visible in the deep leaf litter, and if you look closely, you can recognize the paths they moved through. Sometimes it's not just about droppings and footprints, but also some other signs, like this. This is a dead tree with a lot of its bark peeling off naturally, but some parts seem to be peeled off by a larger animal brushing against it. It's hard to know for sure in this specific case, but a lot points to it. Nights were particularly fun, since that is when deer appeared. You could hear a loud rustling of leaves, and I was able to catch some on camera. Don't worry, I didn't bother them too long with the flashlight. I think they deserve the little peace they can get away from humans. At one point, I was afraid Jessica would be eaten by a nearby paper wasp. This was one of the close calls, but the paper wasp did not seem to be bothered. Female paper wasps started building their nests. The European paper wasp has an amazingly complex social hierarchy and is an amazing creature overall. It's the first invertebrate to show the ability to perform the mental operation of transitive inference, something usually common in vertebrates. In plain words, that would be an ability to deduce that if Tom is taller than Alice and Alice is taller than Pat, Tom must be taller than Pat. This kind of information seemed to be particularly important in today's dating apps. One more cool fact about many of them is their salivary proteins harvested from their nests are used to make biodegradable drones waterproof. I wonder if I could use those to waterproof my drone I used for some of the shots here in case the rain starts. No worries, I'm keeping their nests untouched. So let's start our foraging journey. We won't make any soup out of paper wasp nests or Jessica, who got caught up in windy leaves. We will treat it as going shopping in a way. I even have a shopping bag. I don't advertise Lidl in any way, this is just what I happen to have with me. The thing with foraging is the best stuff is mostly found in two places: forest edges or sides of the path, or both if one thing is also the other at the same time. Deep forest, dominated by tall trees and deep shade, and almost no light at all touching the ground, is maybe the good spot for hunting, but for gathering it's a different story, unless it's mushroom season. Many of the nice edibles we want to eat won't grow well in this terrain, but I'm sure we can try something. And something we did find, even though not edible. What you see here may look like a boring fungus on a tree, but it's so much more than that. This fungus was useful for humanity for thousands of years, even from the very long-gone hunter-gatherer days. Parts of this fungus were found in possession of famous Otzi the Iceman, remarkably preserved 5,300-year-old natural mummy, discovered on the border between Italy and Austria. It was part of Otzi's fire kit. And fire is what makes it special. The soft inner part of this fungus can be used to catch the spark when making fire, but also to transfer amber from one place to another. It was a way to transport fire in a way, and you can imagine how important it used to be to early humans. Finding this fungus was one of the best things you could find as a human roaming the forests such as these thousands of years ago. But we can't eat this one, you say. You are right. Luckily for us, there is something not too far away from here that we eat. This is European beech tree, and its leaves are edible when they are very young. The same goes for American beech if you happen to be in that part of the world. It's best to go only with very young, translucent leaves, as older ones are tough and not edible. To be honest, beech leaves do not have a reputation as a very good wild edible. They are considered a famine food, something you eat only when you are starving and have no other choice. I've never tried them myself, so this will be my first time as well. If you know how to identify beech tree, you will know how to identify their young leaves as well. Please pick only what you are sure about and don't rely solely on this video for identification. Young beech trees will be translucent, meaning you will be able to see the shape of your fingers if you put them behind the leaves. You will also notice the base of the leaf is uneven and there are some white hairs on the edges of the leaf. Please note again, I'm showing European beech leaves, and American ones can differ in some details. Here I will stick to what is known to me and my area, and I suggest you consult elsewhere for details specific to your region. I've taken only a few of these leaves with me. I'm reporting on the result later on. These beech leaves are about the only thing we will get in deep forest. We will find all the other goodies on the edge. Here is one of the finest, most treasured wild edibles in prime season, stinging nettle. Apparently there is a way to pick it so it doesn't sting you, but as you can see I didn't really master that technique, and I don't think I ever will. You will find them in damp, nitrogen-rich disturbed soils. You always want to pick them before the flowering, which is, apart from the sting, the only caution measure you should take. Oh, and no matter what you pick, carefully look at the plant, as it can hold some things you don't want to eat. Jessicas of the world are also known to sometimes hide in folded up leaves, depending on the species, and we don't want to eat Jessica, especially since she is probably a lackey moth caterpillar and has hairs which can cause skin irritations and allergic reactions. You always want to pick stinging nettle before it flowers. Once it flowers, it contains large amounts of oxalic acid, which is not good for your health. Just a bit farther, I found ground elder. Some of these were already a bit older leaves, and few of them had white spots, likely from some fungal infection, but I still could find some young ones. Ground elder has seemingly 7 leaves. In practice it is usually 5, since leaves on the sides are lobed in a way it looks like they are 2 leaves each. The stem has a triangular shape when cut. Their taste is usually compared to celery or carrots, so this probably is the best fit for the soup I could find in the area. And second best thing for the end, this is crow garlic. Wild onion or wild garlic, no matter what you want to call it. The best single rule for identification for onions is, if it smells like an onion, it is an onion. Even though they are easy to recognize unless you don't have a sense of smell, there are some dangerous lookalikes you could stumble upon, so be always cautious. Let's move on to the cooking part. It's best to soak all collected plants in water for some time and rinse it after, so all dirt goes loose and washed away. This is what we have ready in the end. Add a bit of oil with chopped wild garlic and put on fire. Add water soon after, since chives tend to burn easily if you are not careful. We just want to enhance the onion aroma a bit, hence adding it at the start like this. Add chopped potato and more water. When it gets soft, some 5 minutes before the end, add the leafy greens. I always cook them for no more than 5 minutes because I feel cooking for longer sometimes would somehow decrease their essence and possibly some nutrients as well. Add salt and some other spices per wish, and this is pretty much it. I must report on one thing. I've tried one single beech leaf and it was tasteless. I really could not feel any taste, no matter how hard I tried. Its bigger problem was that it was extremely tough to eat. Cut in smaller pieces and cooked for longer would maybe make this a bit easier, but it was my first time trying this, so you can forgive me for not being an expert at preparing it. Also, there is probably a reason why it's considered a famine food. And one tiny report on a trail camera. It didn't catch any deer, but it did catch a wild rabbit. Yes, I must invest in better quality trail camera. I hardly noticed the rabbit when I looked the first time. This seems to be early dawn time and I always get worst results there. Seems camera gets confused by early morning light and doesn't fully use night vision for recording, while the sensor inside is not good enough for low light conditions. Just before we go, here is what we could have foraged section. These are plants perfectly suitable to be added that I chose not to add because I know from earlier either their taste or texture is not best for this use. Spotted dead nettle. Quite nettle-like in taste but much more earthy in flavor. I would prefer them in teas more than in soups, but this doesn't have to be your taste and you could do it differently. Plantain. There were both broad-leaved and narrow-leaved plantains all around. Even though it can be cooked and used as spinach, I find its texture kind of rough. Not on the beech leaf level, but still rough and quite stringy, so again something I would rather use in a tea or in some other ways. Those were a few of the things that could also be eaten. For some of them though, they are best left alone unless you are starving. I hope this was inspirational and that you perhaps learned something. See you next time.